Bam,
Bow, bow.
Yeah, hey everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to Toque Talk.
We have a change of
Episode
location.
73.
Change of 73. Oh my God.
73
Really?
already. Yep.
Holy moly.
So 73
Holy
episodes and then add 6 to that because we did 2 guests per episode for the first 6 episodes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
So this is going to be our 79th guest.
Oh my
today.
gosh. And you can tell
Coming up
Corey
on
has
100.
a change of location. You're away on location, I guess is what it is.
I am
Not-
on location.
You're not in,
Looks
in
like
the,
I'm doing.
not on set. You're like
No,
on location.
exactly.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm about to do the news. And now for the news.
Winter sports.
Yeah, winter sports with Corey
Winter
Turco.
Oh, and as you can hear,
Oh,
everybody's in the room
I love
together,
it.
including
How-
the
Is that Maz and Yoda? Get him in here. Get him in.
Yoda. Yeah. I'm
miss
in
him.
Mammoth Lakes, California.
So
Crazy.
jealous.
How far is that from
Yeah.
LA?
It's 5 hours,
Oh wow. Okay. So
5-hour drive.
how many of you are up there?
It's just me and the dogs.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
think
we did a
that's-
camping trip on the way up. I don't know if anybody saw my Instagram post today
I did. It looked awesome.
I did
to
not.
the Trona
yeah.
Pinnacles.
Yeah.
But I heard
Crazy.
about it.
Camped in the car. And
That's so crazy. Isn't it
looked
getting
at the
kind of
stars
chilly
and-
for that? Or is it not too bad out there?
It was not too bad. It was cool. Jackets for sure,
Sure.
and jackets for the dogs. But not bad enough that we couldn't stay out and look at stars for a long time.
Did you try the
And then we
Tesla
just-
heater at night?
I did for a bit, but it was getting too hot, and I actually rolled the windows down, and there's nobody around, so I wasn't worried about like someone like coming up to the car in the middle of the night or anything. It was literally like nobody
but-
for like.
But that's how a
half
lot
a
of
mile.
horror movies start, you know.
That's true. That's
There's no
true.
one around.
But
Wait. So you're camping with a Tesla. Think about that.
yeah, off road because the campsite was like 4-wheeling into the desert kind of thing.
Damn. So where are you charging? I guess you have some sort of like.
I charged before I got there. I had lots of
Okay.
charge by the time I
Okay.
left. I bottomed out once.
Oh, really? Wow.
Good thing you
yeah.
didn't
I
scrape
came over
open
a
the battery.
crest of a hill, and then it just went clunk, and I'm like, "Ooh, that's not good."
Well, what are you gonna do?
Slice
Yeah.
open the battery and light on fire.
But,
So you have a mattress too, right, Corey?
Oh, you guys got really quiet. All the
Check
hang on a
one,
sec.
2.
Shane
You have
got
a-
quiet. Am I quiet?
Shane, you got quiet.
Check 1, 2. Yo.
Oh, you're
I can hear you.
Shane, you're on your phone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Down.
Check.
Sorry,
How's that?
Shane. What did you say? I have a mattress.
said-
Yes, I do.
You have a mattress specially designed for your Tesla.
Hey.
I would like to
Oh,
think it's
who's that?
specially designed, but we actually got it at Costco, and it fit perfectly.
What do you mean it fit perfectly? Where is it fitting in the Tesla? Like in the.
Well, when you fold the back seats down in the car, there's just this big space to put a mattress, and because it's a hatchback, you can just crawl in and close
Yeah,
the hatch, and the whole roof is glass, so you can just look up at the stars if you want to.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's
you
totally
might have
great
sold
for
a
camping.
you might have sold a Tesla or two during this conversation. You never know.
What
Yeah.
what was your shutter speed set at when you took that night shot of the Milky Way?
About 3 seconds. 3
Wow.
second
God.
exposure.
Mickey
Any more
Way.
than that, you start the stars start to get like jaggedy
Yeah.
or streaky.
I
Yeah,
can't wait to see the vlog.
yeah. I took video of the whole
That's
thing.
rad.
I started putting it together, and I realized what a terrible storyteller I am.
It's the hardest part, huh?
That's not true. That's not true at all.
Yeah, but
That's-
of course, Maz and Yoda are the stars of the videos. Come here, Maz.
But now it looks like now is that
My
let me
dogs
just-
got jealous.
that's Butters, right?
Buttercup. Hey.
My
Yeah,
girl.
there's Maz.
All right.
There's
Yeah.
Butters.
You may know Maz from the When I'm With You video.
That's right.
She's
She's
in
in one of them.
the start of the video. Hi, everybody.
She stayed at the Casa de Dammit many times. She stayed over here many times. Yeah, all right. Dog drum solo. She loves it. You can tell. She's like, "What is happening? Why is this happening? Why does he keep doing that?" Oh,
Butters.
Corey's dogs are good though because they're adapters. Corey
They
brings
are
them on.
adapters. Yeah, he
Road
brings them.
trips.
And there's Yoda.
Yeah, Yoda.
Yoda.
Here's Yoda.
Yoda.
Hey, buddy.
Yoda was found wandering down. He's also a good one. Yoda was found wandering down Ventura Boulevard. Was that where
Yeah.
he was wandering? And
That's right. My wife picked him up, and she said, "Uh-oh."
and tried to
Got
find who he
another dog.
belonged to. He didn't belong to anybody, and then all of a sudden now he's been there. But he's been there a long. You guys have had him a long time.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
How long have you had Yoda now?
Probably about 11 years,
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. He's been at the top of a lot of summits.
Yeah, he
12,000
has.
foot mountains.
He's a big hiker, huh?
He's a big hiker. Yeah.
Is he still
He's
hiking?
slowing down a bit now. No,
Slowing
well,
down a
he
bit,
still
yeah.
hikes now, but he can't go as far before I have to pick him up. And
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, luckily
Carry
he's
him.
small enough to carry around.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So is Butters.
Yeah, so
Butters is small enough to carry around.
Oh, yeah.
We got 2 little
Sure.
ones and 2 big ones. They're good. So I can relate, Corey. If you put one of them on each side of you, you got a heating blanket. So you
Oh, that's
basically,
true. Yeah,
when you were camping, you probably had 2 dogs beside you, and you were just as
Totally. Yep.
fine.
that's a good call.
Exactly right. Yeah. What was going on? What's going on with you guys? Anything new?
Not Thanksgiving. I tried to do Thanksgiving, but
Oh, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Oh yeah,
That's
happy
right.
Canadian Thanksgiving. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Canadian
funny.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
it just kind of comes out of nowhere, slaps
I
in the
know.
face. That one.
I know.
it's harder
yeah.
when you're here, unless you get together with your immediate family and some friends. It kind of like, oh yeah, it's Thanksgiving in Canada, but
yeah.
we know.
Well, it's an interesting
what the
thing
big deal it is.
because Thanksgiving,
It's-
as much as it is a big deal, it's not quite the event that the American Thanksgiving, as
Right.
everybody here can attest to. People will actually travel home for Thanksgiving, but not Christmas, which I've always found
Right.
interesting. But where in Canada, it's quite the opposite. We still get together for Thanksgiving, but it's not quite.
We're not
like,
very thankful.
yeah. We have less to be thankful for, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's yeah. We're thankful for hockey, yes. But yeah, no, but it was good. It was. We ordered pizza and we watched. What did we watch? I don't know. We watched something. It was on TV. Guess what?
Oh,
Big
really?
surprise. I watched something on television.
Squid
was-
Games. Did you guys
No,
start?
I haven't
watching
watched that yet. I haven't watched that yet. That's kind of like. It's probably not quite up my wife's alley, so it's one of those things.
Yeah, I
really want to
saw
check
the
out.
trailer and I was like, I don't like these vocal overdubs. They seem
Well, you can
distracting.
watch it. You can watch it with subtitles. That's the one good thing
Okay.
about Netflix is
That would
well,
probably be better.
yeah, right.
and if you're a musician, you can have subtitles on everything, English programs as well. So sometimes I advise that.
Is it good? Is it good, Shane?
I don't know what to make of it, honestly. I made it through half an episode and I was like, I don't know.
I hear it grows on you. I hear it
Yeah,
kind
that's
of.
what I heard. So I
gets
think
super
you gotta
crazy, yeah.
give it. It was kind of like, yeah, you got to give it a couple episodes. I
And
think,
it's
probably.
Korean. It's a Korean show, right?
It takes a long time to get into the meat potatoes. Like
Ah, yeah.
3/4 of the way through the first episode before you're like figuring anything out.
Oh, cool.
I mean, you
kind
get
of like that.
you get an idea of the character, like the main guy, but yeah, it was. I'll give it another episode. I think
We watched the
it's number one.
Sopranos.
It's number one on Netflix.
It's the
right?
number one
right
on
now?
Netflix.
blowing
right
up,
now, yeah.
dude. It's just
Yeah.
blowing up everywhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a
What
massive.
about the morning
cultural thing.
show? What about
I've been watching the morning show. We just kind of started
Are you
into
up?
season 2. It's such a great show.
Yeah, well, it's
an
no secret because the Foo Fighters posted, but
I know.
they
Yeah,
posted
yeah,
a cameo, and I just
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
it last night. It was
yeah.
rad.
yeah. Dave has lines in it. It was so funny. I'm going. This is so weird. So meta when you're kind of like a real band is playing on a show where the actors are playing. You know, that's not Jennifer Aniston. That's Alex, whatever her name is on the show. Yeah, that's a great show. It's a really good show.
It is good, yeah.
We watched the Sopranos movie, the Sopranos prequel, which is I thought was actually really good. A lot of my friends are fairly. It's sort of been polarizing, but I thought it was really quite enjoyable, actually, if you're a fan of the Sopranos. But let's talk to our guest now because I got a hard out at 3:30. So
First, let's say hi to everybody in the audience. Hi, guys.
oh yes, I haven't turned on the comments yet. What a jerk!
Yeah, I just turned them on. And I see there's.
Today.
Let's just
lot
mention
of people here
because
today.
we're getting to play.
Scooter
in
McGee's
2
on
weeks.
here. Yes, we are getting to play. We're going to Regina. We're going to the capital.
Right.
Like
We're
2
the
weeks?
home of the RCMP.
That's a
Who
fun
wants to sing
gig.
it?
Remember
Yeah.
last time?
Yeah,
Last time
We'll
we
get-
played there it was
actually-
off the chain.
It was.
yeah. I'm just
We're
glad
gonna
we're getting
get our guest to sing "Experience Regina" for you, okay?
Mm.
Because he does it really well. He does it really well.
Did you play for him? Oh wow! Experience Regina.
We actually did it for a sound check when on
Oh,
a Shania
God.
tour. One day.
gotta film that stuff.
I gotta hear it.
Mhm.
I gotta get the right
Shane's
key.
gonna go looking for it now.
I
Now
just
you
gotta
gotta
get
call
the
it
right
up.
key.
So yeah, we're playing Regina at the Turvey
October
Center on the
22nd.
22nd.
Yeah.
October
And
22nd,
unfortunately, all the
which
other
is-
gigs
yeah.
are canceled. So
That's
we had
literally
Saskatoon
in
that
10
went away.
days from now, which is shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Flights are booked. COVID tests, everyone.
Yeah.
That's the joy, hey?
I
Like
will.
we don't just get to play and book flights and get
Yeah,
ready
we're
to play
getting-
music. That's like the COVID test is the most important part of the
I know the entire
preparation.
experience. We're getting COVID tests on the day of the show so we can go home. It's
Right?
like the biggest part of the thing.
Yeah.
here it comes.
Yeah.
Regina.
Experience Regina.
Just a little out of key. Just a little.
we
That's
should
enough.
probably be posting that everywhere just to kind of get everybody caught up on what that is.
Gotta end
Is there
up
some
in
way
our
to post
set
the
one
link
time.
online here?
There's like 500,000 views on that. 600,000 views.
Jimmy, it got played on Fallon's show. Jimmy Fallon played it
Huh?
on the Tonight Show.
That's
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was like something to do with wacky songs or something like that.
Scooter McGee says Jimmy Fallon played Experience Regina one night. That's right. I
There
remember
he
that.
goes.
He knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
Scooter knows. Scooter knows all. The great Scooter McGee, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, now I'm getting the messages. Okay.
Cool.
Regina.
So now that we're all caught up, should we bring in our guest?
Yes, let's bring him in.
Yes.
It's enough already.
So this all
tension's
worked out
killing
really
me.
well because our guest is having a birthday today.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's ironic is that he was born in 1973. And guess what episode this is?
Wow.
73.
It's been meant to
It was
be.
fate. It was meant to be. I played many a gig with this gentleman in the Shania band and elsewhere. And he's also a Toque alumni, right?
He is. Yeah, he got up on
Because
stage with
one
us
night in-
at the
Yep.
at where was that again?
I wasn't there.
The Lucky Strike in
Lucky
Hollywood.
Strike in Hollywood, yeah.
Yep, right off of
Oh.
Hollywood Boulevard.
Was that a NAM
And
thing or
Shane was in
something?
Japan. What's
I
that?
don't-
No, I don't think so. Shane, you were in Japan, I think, and Fitz played drums and our guest played bass. And it was a lot of fun. And we had Steve, the keyboard player, Steve played
Palazzo.
with us as well.
Palazzo.
Yeah, Palazzo
Yep.
plays with Shania, Avril Lavigne.
Avril Lavigne.
Oddly enough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More Canadians.
Yeah, exactly right. And Derek is a honorary Canadian because he lived in a northern state. He's from Pennsylvania. He loves hockey, so we got lots to talk about.
Oh my gosh.
He loves
Uh-oh.
hiking. We got even more to talk about.
Great.
I've probably been on. Well, I've been on a lot of adventures with this guy, like backpacking trips and
Including Mammoth, California.
including Mammoth. Yep. And he's climbed Kilimanjaro
Wow.
in Africa.
Jeez.
So no stranger to adventure. And I think we have a lot to talk about today. So let's bring in one of my best buddies ever on his birthday. Please welcome Derek Frank.
Oh my gosh.
You slide over.
What up, Tweakers? Everybody in Two Plans.
That is so awesome.
Hey, Derek.
Happy birthday.
This is the
Derek.
best.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
This is the best
Thank you.
entrance of a
Honored to,
guest ever.
be joining. It's really fancy here. Yeah, we're sitting here at the dining table here in our little cozy condo, and yeah.
Are you guys
slide
having
right
like-
on,
Doug
here we are.
McKenzie.
Is this like a Brokeback birthday party? What's going on up there?
No, Annette's here. She's back
Oh,
there
okay.
trying
Oh.
to keep Penny the golden retriever quiet because she's sleeping earlier.
So it's
yeah.
I'm so jealous. You guys are like adventuring, like climbing. What are you guys doing? Hikes?
A whole lot of hanging out, really. I mean, it dumped snow all day yesterday, which was super
Yeah.
cool. But we were planning on
Oh,
hiking,
wow.
but then it was
Awesome.
just. I mean, it like didn't stop yesterday.
It was a full-on
Really?
blizzard.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
So we just
How much-
kind of hung out, you know.
How much snow is there now?
We probably got maybe 6 to 8 inches overnight, something
Okay.
like that.
Cool.
It's melting now pretty quickly. The sun is out, but it's beautiful. It's amazing. Just like the mountains are covered in snow and it's sunny and
Amazing.
Yeah. quite rad indeed.
I love
But
it.
you always kind of forget that it can snow in California. It's not just The sunshine.
Yeah.
It is the Sunshine State, but it's still going to get snow in certain
People
parts.
just think of beaches. They don't think of mountains, and snow.
Not at all.
I think I told somebody there once about skiing in California. Like, you can't ski in California. I'm like, no, we get a lot of snow. It's like, no, you don't. You're lying.
You,
Let's
couldn't
remember
you
the
go to Big
episodes
Bear?
of what's that?
Couldn't you just go to Big Bear, which is really only like an
Yeah.
hour?
Big
East of the
Bear's
city.
Big Bear's closer. It's like 2 hours from LA. But we have a place here in Mammoth. We have a condo we bought
Oh, you
years
do?
ago, and it's kind of our little escape. Yeah.
And
That's fantastic.
Mammoth is like a world class ski resort. I mean, it's legit.
is.
It's
awesome.
huge. So, I mean, all the
Yeah.
different kinds of terrain you could ever imagine. You can ski in one day. You get everywhere. I mean, there's chairlifts going every which way on that mountain. It's
Wow.
huge, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the biggest.
It's
ski
it's
resorts
huge.
in-
All kinds of different terrain. We get tons of snow. You guys got to come up.
I'm there.
Okay.
There's
let's
gigs
go.
up there too.
Mammoth.
There's gigs up
There's
there.
gigs at
I played up
Mammoth?
there.
Yeah, especially
really?
in the
Oh.
summer. They have a different festival every weekend.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and during the ski season, like they set up concerts and stuff at the lodges and whatnot. So yeah, there's some rock and roll to be experienced.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, happy
Yeah.
birthday, brother! I can't believe it's
Thank you.
We're making you do stuff on your birthday, but we
no,
really
it's
appreciate
super fun. It's an honor to be one of the few non-Canadians featured on Toque Talk.
it.
but as Corey mentioned, I feel like I'm Canadian adjacent or
I
honorary
think so.
Canadian, just because I hang out with a lot of Canadians and I
Wait,
like
that's
hockey.
true. That's true. And the fact that you're actually
with
the
the
only
Canadians.
one of the only ones currently witnessing snow, and the rest of us haven't seen snow
Right.
in a while.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So what?
Although you did get snow in Vegas last year, didn't you? Wasn't there like a little bit of snow in Vegas?
We usually get
Or the
snow
year before or
you know,
something.
It's not
Kinda.
rare that it happens in Vegas every winter. It's actually starting to get surprisingly. It dropped considerably.
It was
weather-wise.
definitely cold yesterday. Holy crap!
Yeah, it went
Was it?
from like
Was
it went from like
cold, yeah.
115 down to like 60 something degrees, and I'm like, whoa,
Wow.
kind
Wow.
of shocking.
Yeah.
But
Crazy.
but-
Wow.
So when did you
Finally
guys,
coming out there? I'm sorry.
Corey and Derek, when did you guys first start playing together? Was it the Shania gig?
Mm-hmm.
It was. We had auditions for the bass player role in Vegas, and the gig was given to another guy who had nice curly hair. He was like a god.
He looked like Corey.
He was a god. No, he was much better looking, and just like. But that guy decided he wanted to pursue a solo career with his band, and turned down the gig at the last second.
Are you saying was it Kenny G? Because that would be really awesome.
It wasn't
Kenny G plays bass. yeah.
And so lucky for us, Derek was still available, and that's how you got the gig, right?
Yeah. Lucky for me. Yeah. So that was 2015. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good note. That's a good note to almost anybody. Just because you don't get a gig doesn't mean that gig won't come around to you anyway.
Very true.
Yeah,
And
sure.
you guys hadn't known each other in any other like little circle, like music circle in LA?
No, I first met Corey at the audition. I was friends with Joshua Ray Gooch, who's the other guitar player in Shania's band.
Yeah.
And Josh was the one that threw my name in the hat for Shania when they were looking for a bass player. So when I initially sent some stuff in, some like links and videos and whatnot, I think I sent them to Josh. He sent them to Corey. Corey sent them to Shania, and that's kind of how I got in the mix.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Derek has played bass on the Heels soundtrack that is out right now.
I just watched we watched the finale yesterday, or was it today? I don't remember when the hell we watched it, but the song got played again. It was played a bunch,
Did it?
and then so they played it at the very last episode because there was a wrestling match. So it gets played when there's a wrestling match because the one guy, we're his sort of walk-on tune.
Yeah.
So explain who all
banger
played
of a
on
tune,
it of all
too.
you guys. Who
Well,
all
Gooch
on
put
it?
that together. Josh Gooch from Shania Twain. So it's Josh, basically, and the rest of the group is here.
Yeah.
Basically, everybody
Rod
here
sang,
except
Derek on bass, Shane on drums, me on guitar, and so that was Heels,
Josh
and
on
then
guitar.
a similar ensemble for the Bill and Ted movie.
Yeah,
that's right.
as well. Derek
Bill and
also
Ted
played
3,
in
yeah.
that. I mean, Derek's probably the hardest working bass player in LA.
Oh, 100%.
He's played with everybody. He played with Air Supply.
Yeah.
I know.
That
Really?
took a while.
Yeah.
What was
Did
that
it?
like? I wanted to ask you about
was
that.
fun.
Like,
I
that
did
must-
it. I did it for just a little over a year. I did it. I joined them shortly after the Shania Twain Rock This Country tour because she didn't have anything going on. Fortunately, I got the call to join that band, and they took me all over the world. And then I did it till I couldn't do it anymore. And Shania was getting busy again, and I kind of had to give something up, you know.
Derek was all out of love, so he quit the band.
I was gonna say, is that I'm all out of love?
Yep, a lot of love songs. Yeah. Yeah.
And because you're every woman in the world.
Yep,
too.
absolutely. Yep, that one.
Yep.
Even the Nights Are Better. Lost in Love.
Lost in
a lot of songs
love.
with love in the title. Yeah.
Now, are they based out of Australia still, or a couple guys?
No, they're in the States. It's everybody in that band lives in a different city. So like our whole touring group was, I think, 11 people, and there were 3 of us in LA, and then 8 people were in 8 different cities. So Fitz has got the record. He's got
got a pyramid.
Yeah, nice. It's classic.
Wait, so are the 2 main guys still a part of the group?
So Air Supply is basically a duo. It's those 2 guys, and then like the band has kind of changed many times over the years.
And are those 2 guys
a duo?
Are they living in the U.S.? The 2 of them?
Yeah, and they have been for a long time. Graham, who's he's the tall guy. He's like the main songwriter. He lives near Park City, Utah, which is where I've been living for the past year. And then Russell, the lead singer guy. What's going on there?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to edit.
Derek and Derek. Yeah.
Trying to edit the name.
Trying to edit names here. Very high tech situation here.
Excellent, excellent adventures.
But Russell, the lead singer, he lives in LA now. He was in Atlanta for a while, and he's lived all over the place. You know,
that's interesting. He's in Utah.
He's been there for like 25 years or something like that. He's got like a house like out in the wilderness. Like he has like 25 acres of land, and like.
Wow.
Just kind of like, just isolated, you know.
Got that lost in love money going on out there.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's great. And you said you've been spending time out in Utah as well?
Yeah. So last year, kind of when the pandemic was going, it was like last summer, we just wanted to get out of LA. We'd been in LA for months. Everything was completely locked down. And obviously musicians weren't touring at all and didn't have a lot going on. And we went out to Park City, Utah, just to like hang out for a little bit. And we ended up buying a house just kind of on a whim. We looked at some open houses and like fell in love with a house. And
it's amazing out there.
It's great. And, you know, I was kind of at the point too, like where, you know, most of what I do is on the road or in Vegas. Like I don't play a lot locally in LA. And I was just thinking I kind of wanted to spend more time somewhere else because LA is pretty crazy. And I've been there for 24 years. And so, yeah, we bought a place in Park City and just as the pandemic kept going and still there weren't any shows happening, we just kind of hung out there. And I brought a handful of basses with me and a small recording rig so people could send me tracks and I could record. And then we went back to LA whenever there was a reason to. And so we kind of did that for a year. And now we're back in LA now and work is happening again. I've been slam busy with a lot of different things and starting up my Vegas residency again in a week. And
that's great.
So now we're like LA is home base again, and Park City will be like vacation.
What is your story? The 24 years ago coming to Los Angeles from Pennsylvania. How did that all?
Well, there were many places in between Pennsylvania and LA. So let's see. I was in college in Miami. I went to University of Miami for music. Shortly after that, I moved to Boston for just less than a year. I was with a girl. She went to Berkeley, and yada, yada, yada. I ended up leaving Boston less than a year later. So then I moved to LA in 97. Yeah. I moved to Boston in 97. Moved to LA in 97. I've just been there ever since. You know, it's
wow. That 97. That's crazy. So when you were at music school, what exactly does that entail? Is that like, I'm trying to think. That was in Miami?
Yeah, University of Miami. They had a great jazz program, like jazz and contemporary music, and it's kind of where I was at the time. I was like heavily into jazz and fusion stuff like that. So that's kind of what I was doing a lot of back then. And then, you know, during school, I got into a lot of other stuff. I got a little bit deeper into rock and funk and R&B and you know all that stuff
and meth.
And meth. And, you know.
Wow.
Which is why
I'm not familiar with
it. Did, you know,
I'm not familiar with that music form.
I've had a couple buddies. Yeah. A couple buddies go to that school and they raved about it.
Hang on a sec. We just had an icicle fall.
Dogs are barking.
Okay, stop.
I love that.
No.
was gonna say,
the
Derek,
snow's melting, and
a couple of my buddies went to Miami. I
cool.
think your school, Rick Farabracci. Do you know Rick?
Oh yeah, I know Rick. Yep.
And I don't know if he's probably a little older than you, so it's probably before that. And then Scott Parker, you know, the guitar player.
Oh yeah, yeah. They both Scott and Rick were guys that I met like once I moved to LA, but they were referred to me by my teachers down there. Like they were like, oh, you got to call Rick. So Rick was one of the first guys I connected with in LA. Just, you know, I moved to LA not knowing a whole lot of people. Wow. And so back then it was like before social media and all that. So I was just cold calling people. If somebody like told me there was a good musician that I should know, I just called them up and said, hey, my name's Derek, bass player, just moved into town. Like, what's going on? You know, so I kind of got to know a lot of musicians that way, you know.
It's funny that's the way we did it back in those days.
Old
the
school.
rotary phone.
Yeah, was there something that actually brought you to LA, or was it more like just kind of I'm gonna go out and?
Well, it's interesting because I hadn't really planned on being in LA. I'd never, for some reason, for some strange reason, I never considered LA being where I wanted my career to start, which is ridiculous because this is where, you know, so much is happening. Right. But my parents had moved to LA while I was still in college. Oh, and wow. I'd been out to visit them like on spring break and stuff like that, but I hadn't really spent time in LA. So when I left Boston, I was broke. And I just decided to come to LA and live with my parents for a little bit, not pay rent for a bit, get a day job, save some money. And then I had some friends that were in San Fran that were kind of in the jazz scene up there. And still that was kind of where my head was at. And so my plan was to come to LA, live with the folks for a bit, save some money and just kind of regroup and then move to San Fran. But I was in LA for like 2 weeks and I already knew that like I needed to stay. Like I had friends from college that were already doing gigs in LA and they were calling me for a lot of little local gigs and stuff. And I started playing with a bunch of singer-songwriters and started doing a few sessions here and there and stuff like that. And it just, you know, after 2 weeks, I was like, okay, LA is where I need to stay.
Where in LA were your folks situated?
They were, at the time they were renting an apartment in Pasadena. And so I lived with them there. And then they bought a condo in Century City. So Pasadena was only there for a couple of weeks. That was like a temporary place. And then we moved into a condo in Century City and I was there for about a year with them. And then ended up renting a house in Burbank with a buddy of mine. And I've been in Burbank ever since. So that was like probably towards the end of 98 that I moved to Burbank. And then I bought a house in Burbank in 2000 and there ever since.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
I probably saw you a million times, Derek, and stood beside you at like the baked potato back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And never even, you know, connected dots just because, you know, it's like it's a packed, smoky, cool place full of musicians, but you just never know.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure we were in close proximity at a number of spots. Cause I mean, I was my first few years in LA, I was going out all the time, you know. Now I'm a little bit more of a homebody, but like I used to just, every night I was going out to either like a jam session or to hear somebody play or to check out some musician that somebody told me about that I should meet. And yeah, Baked Potato, I was there 3 or 4 nights a week. And then I was also, you know, going to, you know, a lot of the other clubs, a lot of the rock clubs and stuff like that. Viper Room a lot and the Mint and every now and then the Whiskey or the Roxy.
Sure.
Yeah.
And today he's blowing up all over the place because he's actually on the Kelly Clarkson Show today as a guest.
Oh, wow.
How do you do that? Toque Talk and at the same time.
2 places at once. Modern technology. Now, last week I filled in for our yeah, exactly. I have my own helicopter and I skydive onto the set, you know. But no, last week our friend Kyle Whalum, great bass player, he plays in Kelly's band. He called me to fill in for him on a few episodes of Kelly's talk show. She's a daytime talk show, and you know her band is the house band on the show. So I filmed 3 episodes last week, and they kind of air at different times. It's not a live show. So I had one of my episodes air last week, and then one aired today, or is about to air today. Yeah,
that's so
super
cool.
fun. Yeah, she's great. I've been a fan of Kelly's for so long, and obviously Corey's, you know, worked with her for so long, and she's been like on my list of like, you know, pop singers that I've been wanting to play with for a long time. So it was great to do a few episodes of the show.
It's a fascinating thing, isn't it? Watching Kelly go from being, you know, a vocalist and then suddenly being a daytime talk show host. You're like, wow, this is such a crazy thing. I mean, it says something about her personality that I guess saying yes to being on, was it Idol or was it The Voice she was on? I can't remember.
Idol,
yeah. So
she was the first.
Yeah, she was the first American Idol.
That's the first.
But I mean, I'm saying she came back as
she's currently a coach on The Voice. So she's
on The Voice. That's
so she's on both, huh?
Yeah, so she came back as a coach for the Voice, and that's where they kind of got the idea that this kid's got moxie, and somebody threw, let's put her in. She's going places, and they gave her a show. I think, to be honest, I understand that she's almost going to be like overtaking Ellen and all that kind of stuff at this point. So she's doing great.
She's taking Ellen's time slot, right? I think.
Yeah.
Next
Wow.
year.
And I gotta say, she's really good at it. Like I don't really watch a lot of like talk shows or daytime talk shows especially, but she's really good. She's just got great positive energy, and she's a great conversationalist. Just with
I only watch.
It's not awkward, It's just.
I only want to watch daytime TV. I only want to watch daytime TV if there's like strippers fighting, or if you are not the father, or that kind of thing.
Paternity tests.
Yeah,
paternity tests.
The next time if I do her show again, I'll pull her aside and say, Kelly, you really want to have a hit show. You got to start getting some fights happening and get some strippers, and
Is that stuff even still on TV?
Oh yeah.
Is it? I mean, Springer's not on anymore, is he?
Maury Povich was just potential. It was just all paternity suits after a while. Like every time you turn the
you
TV,
are not the father.
You are not the father. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are those shows still on? I really don't watch regular television.
Never
anymore,
watch TV at all.
Maury Povich had a really good daytime talk show to start with. Like I remember watching it way back when he started, and it was very thoughtful subject matter and whatnot.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any money, Corey.
No one cared about
that. They want trash.
Then he just turned into trash, and he ran all the way to the bank with that.
Yeah.
Jerry Springer was the mayor of Chicago or something at one time. So that puts it in perspective.
He kind of started out the same way too. Very thoughtful. Always have that last thoughtful thing at the end of the monologue that you do.
Take care of yourselves and each other. His tagline.
But beat the shit out of each
other. But when you're on the show,
it was kind of spun out of like Donahue, right? Like Donahue was even the earlier generation.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was kind of like the first sort of incarnation.
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oprah started in that same. It's funny because it's the exact opposite with her, because she kind of started with like all that stuff, and then kind of moved into her own world and kind of pulled it into kind of more a classier zone. So I guess she was kind of able to kind of veer out of that, where everybody else was like, lean in heavy. Right. Scandal City. Yeah.
Let's talk about hockey.
Yeah.
Oh wait, can't we get the dirt on Gwen Stefani? There's Gwen Stefani too, right, Derek?
You want to talk about that?
I'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, actually,
I'm merely a guest on your show.
Is there someone you haven't played with? I mean, who's a bigger star than Gwen Stefani? Come on.
It's
ridiculous.
I mean, come on. Well,
Shania.
You played, I got to play 3 songs, but I got to play 3 songs with Toque. So you guys were at the top of my resume.
And I think it was Queen City Kids.
Well
if I'm
said.
not mistaken.
Yeah,
but that must be a blast. I mean, I think I did a show with Gwen Stefani. It was before you though, back with Bees in 100 years ago in Japan. Yeah, it was like Summer Sonic. And,
nice.
She was just killer, man. Just such a talent.
Awesome.
Like
she's
captivating on
in
stage.
Vegas. I saw you on the show, Derek, in Vegas, which is really good. I mean, just the band is killer, the stage is killer, and what I like is the fact that such a successful artist can be so down to earth and appreciative, and let the audience know how thankful they are to have a career and a show in Vegas. And she highlights the whole band. I'm like, it's really a cool gig. I mean, and awesome. You get to double up. I mean, we can talk about Shania and all that, but like, you got 2 things going on in Vegas. Like, dude, it's pretty awesome.
He's going to do Gwen right away. And literally as that ends, we roll in with Shania, and he just goes back to back.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Same
theater is like, it's my home away from home. Same theater. Yeah. Well, that's how I was able to, do both artists' residencies. I started with Gwen in 2018. It was kind of interesting how things worked out. I got very, very lucky there. So I was with Shania through the end of 2017, and then she did a big tour in 2018, but it was a smaller band, and she didn't need me on that tour. But shortly after that, I got a call to join Gwen's band. So I started with Gwen in April of 2018, and then maybe like a year and a half into the Gwen residency, Shania came to the show, and I just had a feeling she was snooping around, checking out the venue, thinking about it, because she had talked about doing another Vegas residency. And then sure enough, she announced her residency and I was talking to Corey and the team about joining up with the band again, and luckily it worked out. And Gwen's residency is still happening, so able to juggle both because they're they don't overlap. So
that's incredible, dude.
It's the same venue, so
yeah,
there's no chance of overlap.
Yeah,
that's so amazing. Yeah,
it worked out great.
So you're saying if Tom Jones or Wayne Newton goes into that theater, you just stay there. You should just stay there with your bass on.
I have a bunk. I have a bunk like in the closet that I set up, and it's
a hammock.
It's like
I'll be really impressed. Kiss is doing a residency at the end of the month. If I see you with
they are
Gene Simmons makeup,
yeah, that'll be the next residency. Gene just doesn't want to play anymore.
He's on the side.
I do want to see that though. It'd be hilarious to see Kiss in the same theater that I've done a bunch of shows in. See them just blowing stuff up and spitting blood, and
that'd be great. That's so cool. And it must be fun playing those Tony bass lines, those bass lines with Gwen stuff. Yeah, he's got great pocket, that guy.
I'm a huge No Doubt fan, big Gwen fan.
Me too, yeah.
And it was really fun to dig into those songs when I started playing the gig, because we do all the hits. All the Vegas residency shows are basically just greatest hits shows. Of course, so we play all the No Doubt stuff in addition to Gwen's hits. And so to dig into Tony's playing and try to represent that as best I could. It was a really fun learning process.
What's your favorite song to play?
with Gwen?
I mean,
is that your common question?
Right? What's your favorite song to play with Gwen?
I thought the most common question is she nice? That's the most.
I was going to say, is Gwen nice?
Yeah. Is she nice? Come on, tell me.
Is Shania nice?
Yeah. No, but the people that aren't really in the business so much, that's kind of the first question they ask. Is Gwen nice?
Of course.
And is she?
Of course. She is very nice. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, actually.
Yeah, no, she's great. I've been really lucky because over the years I've worked with a lot of singers, mostly female, and I've never had a nightmare experience. We've all heard about those divas and stuff that people have worked with have been a pain in the ass, and I've been super lucky. Every female singer I've played with has been super cool. And
that's awesome.
I just don't have any bad experiences.
Well, the term diva doesn't just have. The term diva doesn't necessarily have to be a female thing. We all know.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There are divos too.
We are Devo. D-E-V-O.
D-E-V-O. That's
I would think that Toque Talk song is a fun song to play on bass.
Yeah, It's My Life. Yeah, super fun one.
It's my
that'd be fun.
Yeah, I love playing that song. It's so fun.
People don't realize that that's a Toque Talk song, but yeah, they covered the old
Toque Talk's a great band. They had some pretty deep stuff. They did. Cool band.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my favorites to play with her.
I bet.
Yeah,
I actually like that. What's that song? Hella Good, or whatever it's called.
Hella Good's a blast too.
Yeah, that record's super groovy.
I was just gonna say, as soon as that drum groove comes in, just that Billie Jean,
totally.
It's killer.
I saw them back today. They would open with that song, and the drum kit would come out of the floor. Him just sort of playing like that. It came out of the floor, and then it just was on. And I was like, "Whoa, this is." I did not expect it to be that high energy. It was great. And of course, the two dudes, are they still doing, do they do the solo shows as well? The guys that do the backup singing and horns?
Yeah. Stephen Bradley and Gabriel McNair. They were basically in No Doubt from the get-go. Not originally, but before Tragic Kingdom came out, they were already in the band, but they were always just kind of the sort of utility guys. They weren't, you didn't see them in the band promo photos. They were always hired guns, but they were always in the band.
They were great.
So yeah, they're with us, and it's great to have people that go back to the No Doubt days that they can sort of give us pointers and stuff and tips on how the No Doubt guys did things, and they give me some tips on some of the Tony bass lines and stuff, and it's so great to have them on the gig, and they're both just great musicians.
They are, yeah. Mental.
And Tony's a vegan too, and so is Derek.
Yeah.
So that worked out well.
That's right.
I still haven't met Tony though. I've never met him.
I met him once. Oddly enough, he got up on stage at a thing we were doing in Vegas.
It's going to be there. It is. Yeah.
But he got up on stage at a thing I was doing in Vegas once, but he didn't play. He just kind of got dragged up by Vinnie Paul from Pantera.
Oh, really?
Tony, get up here! Just turn into
wave at some people.
Turns into a barbecue. He's got everybody go. And he just kind of came up and waved, and then he walked away. Shook his hand. Great bass player though. Really talented guy.
Cool. Yeah, love him. He's awesome.
Do you do banana and all that kind of stuff? Bananas?
Holla back girl.
Yeah.
This shit is
Holla back
bananas.
girl.
Yeah, we do. Of course.
That's
yeah,
all gigantic.
Yeah. We have, you know, dancers carrying giant bananas around the stage and all that stuff, you know.
Really?
Yeah. And we
I'd
had,
be disappointed if there weren't. Yeah.
No, of course. We have like giant bananas, I think, that fall from the sky too. It's it's a whole thing. And we did the Jimmy Kimmel show a while back. Like Jimmy Kimmel did a whole skit with, you guys have seen Guillermo, his sort of assistant or sidekick. Yeah. So they did a whole like skit where Guillermo was auditioning to be a backup dancer for Gwen's Vegas show. And then in the end, he joined us on stage wearing a banana suit.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's hilarious. Yeah, you always forget Jimmy's from Vegas originally.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
His
That's
roots
right.
go deep. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
his
amazing.
Band leader Cleto was from Vegas as well. They were like home,
That's right.
you know, in high school and stuff. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, all Vegas guys. Yeah.
That's
so crazy. So what? When do you come to Vegas?
So I'll be there. I'm coming out a week from today, actually. We do a couple rehearsals.
Wow, you're coming already.
Yeah, and our first show back is October 21st, and so we'll.
And
go
that runs
November
how long?
7th. Just till November 7th. Yeah.
And when does Shania start up?
December 2nd, I think. Right.
Yeah.
We got some rehearsals ahead of time, but
right.
Yeah.
So you're kind of jam packed. So you go from like Gwen, a little bit of a break, and then into some rehearsals with Shania.
Yeah, I'll have maybe like a week and a half or so off after the Gwen residency, and then start Shania rehearsals, and then into Shania gigs, and then I'll be back in Vegas with Shania in February, and I'm not sure about Gwen yet. We don't know if it's going to be the end of the residency or if they're going to extend it. We don't know yet because it like we were supposed to be done last May, but because of the pandemic, obviously we missed our last run and a few extra shows. So they haven't specifically said this is our last run. So I don't know. So we'll see. Maybe they'll make an announcement at some point. And,
Gotcha.
Hopefully we'll get extended into next year because it's nice to be able to keep playing with both artists and not have any overlap.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Wow.
Now,
I'm allergic to all this work talk. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, then the last year and a half has been great for you.
Yeah. I've been breathing easy, baby.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to use his inhaler anymore.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
People ask about these
residencies
in Vegas. I just wanted to say, and you guys, the way you do it, the reason you can do both gigs, and Corey and Derek, is because the residencies aren't like a 7-day a week for a year thing. It's the residencies are these short little stints, so you actually don't get bored, and you kind of like you do a couple weeks, or maybe sometimes it's a month, depends on the artist, and then they bring in another artist, and it's sort of so Shania and Gwen share the same residency theater with probably 2 more artists too, right?
Johnny Langdon brings this is. Sorry, I was gonna because this actually kind of plays into it. Johnny Langdon's asking a question. I wonder what's better, being on the road or having a residency where you don't have to travel, but you're doing the same place every night. So that kind of plays into what we're talking about. So it'd be really interesting to hear this because we all have thoughts on this. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think there's benefits to both. I mean, obviously, I love performing live, whether it's in a residency or on the road. I love traveling. I love being in a different city every night. It's great. The Vegas residency thing is easy because you're in the same place, and it's really not that tough. We do 3 shows a week. Usually it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Every now and then they might add a show if there's like a holiday or some other night. But typically it's 3 shows a week. We go out there for about 3 weeks at a time, 3 or 4 weeks at a time. You do that about 4 times a year, and it's so easy being there. And the show is set. Everything's set up there for you. It's just a piece of cake. On the road, it's a little bit more difficult. You got travel to consider. You got bus travel, air travel, things like that. The road might wear you out a little bit more just because sometimes you don't always sleep if you got to get up in the morning and catch flights and stuff like that. But honestly, like for me, I think I can't say one's better than the other. I think they both have their benefits and they're both great.
Yeah, it's interesting because at least there is something to be said about like, you get to go back to your hotel room and your stuff is where you left it, or if you're in a hotel or wherever they put you up, or if you live here like we do. there is something to be said about sleeping in the same place every night and getting up and having a routine. But you're right. There is something really interesting about being able to travel and see other places and see it as extensively as you do, clearly getting out and seeing stuff and not just kind of hiding on, in your bus or in your room.
Oh yeah. I'm always on the go. Like wherever I am, I'm trying to see what's cool around that city. I always kind of seek out the hipster neighborhoods and the coffee shops and things like that,
Totally.
Like coffee shops are the one things I always seek out. And I'm, in the past when I've been on the road, I used to do a lot of marathons. So I was always like training on the road. So like I would do my runs in whatever city we were in. And so I'd really get to see a place that way. So yeah, I mean, I don't like to just stay on the bus or stay in the hotel. I like to get out. When Corey and I are on the road together, we tend to find hikes, things like that.
Yeah.
We did a 14er in, we came off a show in Oklahoma with Shania, and we drove overnight in the bus, slept in the bunks, woke up in Denver, literally crawled off the bus at like 7 or 8 in the morning, went to the car rental place, rented a car, and then went to 14,000 foot mountain and climbed that with my little brother Casey.
What mountain?
Literally going from like 2,000 foot elevation to over 14,000.
Which mountain?
It was intense.
What
it
mountain
was
Bierstadt.
Bierstadt.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had such a bad headache after that. Too much elevation.
It was
high,
it was
man.
intense. Like without being able to acclimate, going from like Oklahoma direct to Denver and immediately driving into the mountains and climbing a 14er. It was intense. Definitely kicked my butt.
I mean,
I
notice it when I go to Mammoth. And I grew up in the mountains, and I hike too. But I go to Mammoth, it kicks my ass after a couple of days. I feel it.
Yeah, we're at 8,000 feet just sitting here right now, and just going up the stairs into the cabin here, it's kicks the crap out of you.
Yeah,
I bet. Yeah,
takes a while to get used to, but the air is sure clean up here.
It's awesome.
You guys also climbed Whitney like once or maybe twice.
He's done it twice.
We haven't done it together yet.
No.
I've done it twice. I did it once a few years. Well, God, 2007 probably now, a long time ago. But like I did it once. I did like the 1 day thing where I started at like 3 a.m. and then got back at like 7 at night. And that was great. And then I attempted to do it on my 40th birthday. And it was a week before. It was like October 5th. And I remember I had a buddy come out and we did it. And it started dumping snow on us. We were about 3/4 of the way up the mountain, and we had to turn around because like the snow was burying the trail. Wow. We couldn't tell where we were going, and we didn't want to be those missing hikers that you hear about every now and then.
Oh God,
so we had to like finally we made that decision. Like, we're so close, but I guess we got to turn around.
And both times you did it in 1 day, right?
We were going for the 1 day thing. Yeah.
That's when I did it over 3 days, so it was much more gradual going up.
Yeah, I mean that's the smarter way to do it because you can acclimate and not push yourself as much. Because it's tough because like you're gaining altitude constantly and air gets thinner and thinner as you go.
It's the tallest mountain in the lower 48 states. So there's bigger mountains in Alaska, but this is the tallest in
continental United States.
US.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get over 10,000 feet, the game totally changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's gnarly, super gnarly. I remember the only time I've really climbed anything, that big, it was like we got to like 12,000 at Mount Fuji in Japan.
Oh, wow.
It was like literally 2 or 3 steps. You got to take like a little break and catch your breath and then go another 2 or 3 steps. And I didn't even have a backpack, like just a small little backpack. It was the one I did it in like 1 day and 2 days also, but that's gnarly.
Josh Gooch was with you on that one?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, cool.
That's really amazing because it's hard to get him out on the trail at all.
Yeah, we can't get him out hiking all that often.
Maybe that was scarring to him and that's why he doesn't go out anymore.
Yeah, could be.
We actually did it. We did it in 2 days though. The first time I climbed Fuji, it was 1 day, and it's rough. I don't think I could do it again, but with Gooch, it was two days. But I remember it being pretty crumbly when we got to the top.
Yeah, is that right?
Actually, yeah.
So
but he was just a
Josh
young
Gooch
kid,
plays with
like
us in the Shania band, so yeah.
He was like 19 years
So wait,
old.
when you're doing it over a couple of days, you camp overnight on the mountain or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, for Fuji, there was a sort of a hostel, like almost at the top. I think it was, I want to say 12,000, 11,000 feet. And you kind of get there late at night, and then you stay until I think 2 a.m. We left for the summit push.
Aye.
You get up and
then
then
you see the sunrise, right?
Yeah, it's called Guraiko. So you climb another 3 hours and then you get to see the sunrise.
Must be amazing.
Cool.
But in their case, I mean, I don't know how Derek did it. You guys camped out. You had full camping gear, right?
Well, when I did the one day, no, I just like slept in my car in the parking lot at the trailhead, you know, and then
the
but
2
Corey,
day.
you do it backpacking though.
Yeah, well, we've done a 3-day backpack together in California up Mount San Gorgonio, which is over 12,000 feet. No, is it? Yes.
Yeah, it's 12,000 something.
Yeah, so that was really fun. But then Derek has flown all, over to Africa to climb Kilimanjaro.
That's crazy, dude.
I did that years ago. That was a blast.
How long did that take?
It was about 5.5 days up, day and a half down, because you take your time going up just to acclimate, so you don't get altitude sickness, which some people still did. I got really lucky. It didn't really affect me that much, but some people got a little sick, and that's why you take your time going up. I was with a guided expedition, but then when you go down, you basically run down. You're like sliding down the scree and stuff, and so it only takes you a day and a half to get down because you take a different route too.
You do moon jumps.
Yeah,
isn't that like
totally?
That's about 20,000 or something, though. 20,000 feet, right?
19,003 something.
That's high.
Yeah, it's up there, and it's surrounded by glaciers. My whole thing was back then, like I was reading about it, and they were talking about how the glaciers were melting and all this, and so much of that area depends on the runoff from the mountain and all that. And I was just intrigued to go see the glaciers, and I was like, you know what, I kind of want to go see these glaciers before they melt, and I was just thinking, I could talk about it or I could just do it. So I did it.
And Derek just does things,
I do things. My wife shakes her head a lot at me and my antics, especially that one, because I remember we were in Mammoth right before that, and we went sledding, and I actually broke a rib sledding.
Oh, no.
Like a few days before I went to Africa, and she was like, you can't go to Africa now. I was like, well, I'm gonna go. It's just a rib; it'll heal itself, As long as I don't have to cough or sneeze, I'll be okay. And so,
oh boy,
so I ended up doing the mountain with a broken rib.
Wow,
but I was all right. It was okay. It hurt a little bit, but yeah. I was young in those days.
Right on. So Derek also released during the pandemic. He released a second follow-up solo album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I highly recommend to everybody.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
It's an instrumental album. Yeah. So there's no singing, right?
Right. Yep. It's all instrumental.
But the stuff is so funky.
Thanks.
It is. Yeah. It is very. And I like the marketing campaign of having it on an 8-track, which I thought was genius. Yeah.
That was fun. I did that with my first album too, because like my music is kind of like, it's like old school funk. It's very rooted in the 70s. And in my first album, I did that where I had these download cards where it had a code where you could redeem for a download. And I made the artwork blend in with the artwork on the 8-track label, and I stuck it to it and wrapped it. And so I was basically selling the download card with a souvenir 8-track. And now I do it with a USB drive. I put the album on a USB stick, put it on the spine of the 8-track, and got my own label for the 8-track.
Genius.
That's just something fun. Because I'm a fan of like physical product. Like these days, everybody downloads or streams. And I'm just such a fan of like having a physical product, like a record, and putting it on and opening it up and looking into liner notes and all that. I just like the idea of something physical. So I did vinyl, but I wanted to have something other than the vinyl because not everybody has a turntable these days. And the CDs are kind of on their way out. So I figured I'll just do the USB drives and do the fun little 8-tracks with them.
That's brilliant. That's cool. I thought it was genius. And yet it brings up an interesting conversation about what the hell do you release stuff on? Because we keep releasing stuff on CD because, like you say, when you're playing shows, you have a better chance of people, wanting to actually, especially if you're going to have like a meet and greet, you can sign some stuff. It's nice to have something to sign, that kind of thing. But it does bring up an interesting question as to at what point do we just bring your laptop down. I'm going to sign your iPhone or whatever you have. You play your music on that
somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And our friend Randy Cook, who's also Canadian, he played on I think the whole record, right, Derek?
He did. Everything except the last track. The last track is kind of a bonus track, and that's one I did years ago with Herman Matthews, who was in Tower Power for a while and great drummer.
Great drummer.
Yeah.
Randy
So we did that 2 years back. Yeah.
I mean, Randy's one of my faves. He's a monster.
Oh, Randy's great. Such a pocket.
And
he's played with everybody.
A lot of Canadian stuff that
everybody.
Oh,
like
man,
all
he's
the bands
played with
we've
a lot
had
of
on all the bands that we've had on Toque Talk, or a lot of them, he's played. You know, it's in some form or another.
Yeah, and a lot of the bands that you guys cover in Toque, he's played in, I think.
Yeah.
All a ton of them, like 80% of them.
Did he do something for Kim Mitchell?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah,
definitely played on Kim Mitchell's stuff.
And Rick Emmett and
Rick Emmett, wow.
Sass Jordan for a long time, and
so many bands.
Just the fact that you
know Glass Tiger, I think.
See, the fact that you know these Canadian names, that just shows you're an honorary Canadian.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Canadian rock.
Yeah. This is kind of interesting comment from Bravo Bry. Does Derek jump out of airplanes without parachutes also?
without parachutes? No, but I used to do it with parachutes all the time. I used to be a major skydiver back in the day.
Wow.
I was way into it. Yeah. Yeah, I used to do all kinds of wild stuff in my younger days. Now I just play music. Which is wild in itself.
Yeah. We're all thrill junkies. Musicians are thrill junkies. We really are.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, I think we are.
That one freaks me out, though.
What's that?
I said that one freaks me out. Yeah, I can barely get.
It was fun. I was way into it
now, like barely. But to jump out of one, that's heavy, man. How high? What's the highest you've ever jumped out of a plane?
The highest I jumped was probably, I think, 17,500. The standard at the time was like 12,500 or 13,500. Those were kind of the standards, and it depends on what kind of plane you're in, because like when you jump out of Cessnas, they just take a long time to get to altitude, so they don't generally take you up that high. Like generally 12,500. But then every now and then they'd bring special planes into the airport where I would jump, and some were faster, so they'd get to altitude faster, so you'd be able to get up, high. And then they'd some where you could go up like above 20, but you would have to have oxygen on the way up.
Would you do the jumps where you like connect with other people in midair?
Yeah, like formations and stuff like that. I got into doing camera because I was in college at the time, and I was taking photography classes. So all my photography classes were skydiving. I had a helmet camera. This is like before GoPros and all that. So I like had a full on SLR like mounted to a helmet with like a switch that would run down my sleeve, and I'd have the button, the switch here, and then I had to have a special suit. They call it a camera suit. It's kind of the early version of the wingsuit. It had little wings on it. And so like when you're shooting the formations, they go first, you go after them, and then you can sort of like regulate your fall with your wings, so you can just kind of stay right above them and get pictures and video. So that's kind of what I was doing. Like I started doing a little bit of the formation stuff, but then I just got more into like shooting them,
Crazy.
It's kind of fun because like you get to crawl out of the door of the plane. They have like a kind of a long step that goes back towards the tail of the plane in a bar. So I would climb out first, and I'd make my way to the tail of the plane. So I'm just like holding onto the side of the plane, and waiting for them to, and they kind of get in formation in the door, and then they jump out together, and then I jump out after them.
That's
fun.
That's the part that I don't get. It doesn't seem like you could just open up a door in a plane that's going how fast? 300-400 miles an hour? Like how fast?
Well, they slow down. They sort of cut the power and glide for a bit. And so, it slows down. So it's not like that kind of thing where it like sucks you out, like, really? Would if you're like in a jet. Okay. I don't really know like what the speed would be, but it kind of slows down enough that you can you have a good 20 seconds to kind of like get in position before you jump out.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
And so why did you stop?
Well, I stopped in 97 when I moved to LA because I really needed to focus on my music career and like building that. And skydiving is one of those things that like you get hooked on it. Yeah. And then you're not going to be good in anybody's band, if you're dead. So no, then
you'll always be playing a little flat.
Hey,
look out.
Yeah, rim shot.
Thank you.
No, but I just kind of had to focus on music, and it was like one of those things that's like, after every jump you're thinking about the next jump, and it's really addictive, and I was just really into it, and I was just okay, I need to just focus on music. Plus, like music gear is expensive, and I was like, well, if I sell all my skydiving rig, I'll have a couple grand, and I could get a P bass or an amp, or it's like I was like, well, music gear or skydiving gear right now. So
is it a gateway drug to like wings flying, like
probably for a
diving?
lot of people? But that didn't exist when I was doing it. That was like in its early stages. Like people base jumped, but that whole like wingsuit stuff and proximity flying stuff, that wasn't out yet, but man, that is nuts.
That is
I follow some people on
nuts.
Instagram that do that, and it's just, man,
dude, that is so nuts.
I don't think I would do that.
But didn't you say you tried to do the paragliding or
hang gliding?
Hang gliding, yeah.
I did, yeah.
But it made you sick to your stomach.
It did, yeah. I was like like years after the skydiving thing, I was like, I want to try hang gliding now, and I took some training flights. I do these training flights down on the beach on these sand dunes, kind of near LAX. And I did my training flights and decided I was into it. I was like, all right, I'm in. So I bought a hang glider, bought my whole thing, the harness and all that. And then I did my first training flight off like the full mountain. And it just made me so motion sick. Like, first of all, you're driving up this dirt road in a rickety old van to get to the launch site. And by the time I even got to the launch site, I was like motion sick. And then once you launch, you're constantly circling around trying to catch the thermals that lift you up. Yeah. And the whole time you're supposed to keep your eyes on the horizon. So your neck is like this the whole time, and you're turning in circles, and there's turbulence. Like the thermals like lift you up, and you're just like as your neck is turned. And it's just like I got down after my first flight. And I was just like, man, my body feels terrible. And it was just, and I was like, yeah, okay, no more hang gliding. There's another sign to just stick to bass playing.
Yeah, let's go back to your bass playing, because we have a question from the audience.
Okay.
From Johnny Langan. Given it's on vinyl, I wonder, did he record it as though it was that time as well, like no Pro Tools?
Well, it was Pro Tools, but it was all analog. Like we didn't do tape, but I did it with a producer named Jim Scott, who's like legendary producer, engineer. He was the engineer on Tom Petty's Wildflowers, amongst many other things, and I'm a big fan. And he's got a studio in Santa Clarita, California, that's all old school. It's like a playground of vintage instruments. It's an all analog console. Not a whole lot of it doesn't use really many plugins at all. It's all just like analog outboard gear. And that's how I wanted to do the record. I wanted it to have an old school 70s vibe to it. I knew I wanted to do it on vinyl, and I knew I wanted to do it as a band, like old school, a band playing in a studio together. I didn't want to just like pass tracks around and have people record remotely. It's the way a lot of records are made now. So we kind of did it, we did it kind of as old school as possible, aside from, doing Pro Tools instead of tape.
So in doing that, did you guys have to
very retro?
Did you guys have to rehearse prior to going in, or did you kind of like work it up in the studio, or how did that work?
We did rehearse because I wanted it to have a band vibe, and it was, we did it during the pandemic. So it's not like the thing where we could start doing gigs first and gel as a band, or, we still weren't able to play live. So, but I wanted it to have a band vibe. So we had 4 rehearsals. I did a bunch of demos for the songs and sent them to everybody, and basically just told everybody, hey, I want you to put your stamp on it. I want it. I want it to be. Should we turn this light on, by the way? It's like getting a little dusky in here.
I just changed the.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm super white and bright. All right.
It's a professional organization.
I'm in a.
Yeah. No, but what was I saying? So we had a few rehearsals, and I just told the band, I'm like, I want you guys to be yourselves in this. I don't want you to wait for me to tell you what to do. I want your ideas, because you're all musicians that I know and respect. Like we had all played together in a lot of other situations. Sure. I know how everybody played. And so, it just very much became a band thing. And so by the time we got into the studio, we pretty much knew what we were doing, basically,
And then for those,
Weeb wants to know, what are the names of the albums?
Okay. Cool. Yeah. My first album is called Let the Games Begin. That's back in 2009. And my second album is called 11 Years Later, because I released it in 2020, 11 years after.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah, there it is. There it is. 11 Years Later is the newest one. I wake up and play. Oh, thank you. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you.
I was going to have pictures to show everybody, but we, on the way back from eating today, we saw a bear, so we had to stop on the side of the road and.
Yeah, bear just ran right in front of Corey's car. It was awesome.
Wow,
big old bear. Dash cam didn't quite capture it though.
We thought
about it afterwards, but big old bear just ran out in front of the car. It's cool.
That's great.
Running. He hurt his paw. He was like going on
limping.
3.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
3 feet.
Oh, poor guy.
Poor guy.
I like that. Bravo Bree says, I presume Derek is a lion tamer as well. Derek will be the first of all of us to fly into space. Speaking of flying into space, did you guys know that William Shatner is flying into space tomorrow?
Really?
I saw that.
No way.
I saw that.
Jeff Bezos's spaceship,
his penis rocket.
Yeah. I like that we're actually talking about that. Like that's like not something that's the strangest thing to ever say. Jeff Bezos just has a spaceship. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I had $170 billion, I'd probably, buy a spaceship too. Have somebody make me one. That's awesome.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah. Who better to take up there than Captain Kirk?
Right.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Well, I think it's your birthday today, so I think you got lots of celebrating to do.
You guys gonna
Hey,
drop some mushrooms or something? What are you guys gonna do today?
What else do you do? I don't know. This is a celebration. Get to hang with the Tukers.
There you go. Yeah, that's
Miss you guys.
well. We looked at your list of wants for your birthday, and we just worked all the way down to this.
Right on.
So we want to thank Derek for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
On his birthday, go watch his performance with Kelly on YouTube. It's already up.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Definitely go check out his new album and his album before that. Got lots of listening to do, guys.
Thanks for the
Yeah.
plug.
We're gonna have a test on this next week.
Yeah.
Yes, this will be on the test.
Yeah. Test is like how many notes are on that album, and the answer is just all of them, basically.
All of them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All the
Several
live
times
stuff is
over.
good though, Derek. When you post
Thanks,
from
man.
baked potato gigs, those are cool. So if you go to Derek's Instagram, usually whatever you've done, like actually several baked potato gigs in the last little while, which is
Well,
super
I've
cool.
only done 2, and I want to.
That's enough.
One, but
That's good.
But I'm
Yeah.
super busy. It's like I was trying to book one in September, October, but things got slammed with other gigs, and which is a good thing. So I probably won't
problem to
do
have,
my
yeah.
own gig. It is, yeah. So I probably won't get back to doing my own gig probably till December, but I will have some more videos to put out. I'm gonna be getting a video from the last show we did, and be mixing some audio for it soon, and putting up some more vids, because it's a super fun band,
groovy.
and I like
That's awesome.
It's
Very
such a great
exciting.
band.
Very
It's
exciting.
great
Thanks.
live. Great album, and then great live. That's the cool thing, is you can play all that stuff, and it's great players, backing up cool music.
And it
So
sounds
I
the
dig it.
same
Thanks.
because you guys
Sounds the
recorded
same.
it at the same time in a room together at the same time.
Cool. I mean, that's what we were
awesome.
going for. We wanted. I didn't want to make an album that I can't duplicate live, because I don't want to use tracks or anything like that. So, we didn't do any overproduction or anything. I mean, we had some horns. We had actually the Vegas horn section, the Fat City Horns, play on it.
Great.
So they're in Vegas. I'm in LA, so I haven't been able to have them on my gigs yet. But yeah, I mean, it's basically the same. Live, it's the same band that's on the record. Yeah.
Great.
You got to sit in with them when they do the Mondays when you're in town.
Yeah,
Derek.
I actually did it. Yeah, I'm sure I will. I actually did one of their live streams, because during the pandemic they were doing their show. This is a band called Santa Fe and the Fat City Horns. They play every Monday in
that's right.
Vegas, and they were
best.
doing a live stream, and they had me come be one of their guests on the live stream. So we did one of the songs from the record that the horn section played on. And that was super
And they
fun.
play
Like,
and they play at the Copa Room out back of Bootlegger on Las Vegas
Bootlegger.
Boulevard.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's
And that's
super
30
fun
years
gig,
going
man.
for those guys. That band has been around a long time.
Yeah,
They
Been
are
around a
serious
long
guys.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious
Yeah.
guys.
It's definitely the gig to check out in Vegas. Like whenever I'm there on a Monday and have the night off, I'm always there. It's such a fun hang.
Yeah.
Really,
Every
is.
other musician in town goes to be healed and get inspired.
healed,
It's pretty rad.
Yep, the healing.
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah.
So Derek and I and his lovely wife we're going to do some trivia tonight at a local brewery.
Oh,
And we were talking about that because they had a gift certificate because they had won the last time they were in town here, the trivia. And it made me think of you, Todd, to getting Todd and Derek in the same room and playing trivia either with each other or against each other. That'd be interesting.
Oh man,
Oh, yeah.
we'll have to do that in Vegas.
I'm not. I'm amazing at the very few things. It's like a small pie chart of what I know, and then there's a giant, huge pie of things I don't know. But yeah,
Oh, of course, yeah.
when it comes to music or films and television and crap like that, or comic books, yeah, I know
Exactly.
stuff,
Yeah, for me, it's like the music and the comic books question.
Yeah.
Those are my things. Anything that's like history or sports, I
Yeah.
can make somewhat educated guesses, and sometimes I get lucky.
Exactly. Unless it's been referenced in film, television, or music, I don't know history.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think I got one question right where like the answer was Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, and the only reason I knew it was because of Iron Maiden.
Of course. Thank you, Iron Maiden.
That's hilarious.
Exactly. Yeah, I think probably most of my historical and knowledge of Greek mythology comes from Iron Maiden.
I think most people
Flight of Icarus, and
Right.
all that.
if it would have been prefaced with the fact that you're learning something, we may not have enjoyed it as much. Wait a second.
I know. I'm glad nobody told me that.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
well,
have a very happy birthday,
guys.
brother.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Iron Maiden
Beautiful.
covered instrumentally on the record.
Yep, that's Derek.
Amazing.
Come on, that's awesome.
Yeah, go check out that album for sure. And we're not
Do it.
leaving. In fact, the way we're going to go out today is with Derek saying "Experience Regina."
Awesome.
You can play the song, or is
No, you just got to sing it. I'll join in with you because
I'm
We
singing
need the
it
bass line.
Acapulco.
Acapulco. So thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you, Derek. It's been fun and
pleasure.
Yeah, buddy.
for having me tonight.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, and thanks everybody in the audience. Thanks for all the questions. And remember, experience Regina.
Experience
2,
Regina.
3, 4.
Regina! Experience Regina!
It's pretty good.
Regina!
You guys have heard this song before.